Hey everyone, I want to invite you to a 6-week online small group series of brief, as in 45 minutes to an hour, sessions based on a book by Pete Enns called How the Bible Actually Works. I believe it fits so well with who we are as the Liminal Church of Ventura. That liminal part of our name is an acknowledgement of the reality that we don't have all the answers about God, and we are instead on a continuous journey of exploration. I think this book and course fits so well with that because it's all about how the Bible actually shows us a long-running, evolving process of people reimagining God over and over again. If you're anything like me, that's a pretty different picture of the Bible than what we were taught growing up. I was taught that the Bible was the official record of everything God thought we might need to know, at least as it relates to God and how we should live. I was taught that it contained no errors or inconsistencies, and when I inevitably encountered parts where it kind of seemed like it did, I was just doing it wrong. And, by the way, stop asking so many questions. Because of my life-changing experience of faith that I'm so grateful for, I couldn't completely let go of faith, but I also couldn't manage to hold on to so many of the things that I had been taught to believe about it, especially about the Bible, what it is and how it works. So for a long time, I lived in sort of a limbo. My desire for a deeper faith would lead me towards the Bible, but what I found there, in my state of not being equipped to understand it, would push me away from it. I think anyone who has seriously tried to embrace the Bible like we were told to, but still looking at it in that simple rulebook, infallible information dump paradigm, has experienced the same kind of cognitive dissonance that I did. There are just a lot of parts that you get to and say, this just can't be right. Later on, with the help of our church and people like Bob and books from people like Pete Enns, who actually was our guest at our very first Liminal Conference in 2016, I learned to be more comfortable with some of the uncomfortable things presented in the Bible, but only by way of the very uncomfortable process of unlearning a lot of the things I thought I knew. For example, it's much easier to deal with a portrayal of God who has a violent interest and involvement in the acts of war of his people when you understand that the people writing those descriptions lived in a world where every tribe had a god and they all acted like that, and your success or failure as a tribe or nation was inextricably tied to how well you appeased those gods so that they would help you in those ways. So it's easier for me now to see that that kind of picture of God was just inaccurate and heavily influenced by the culture of that time. And I'm okay now with just saying they got that part wrong. But that leaves us with the question, so what good is the Bible then? If it isn't actually a big rule book that presents a single consistent set of information that we just have to learn, interpret correctly, and obey, what are we supposed to do with it? That's what this book and this series is about. Despite what those who discourage this kind of questioning fear, that it could lead to one just throwing out the whole thing, I've personally found that I love the Bible more than I ever have before, because now I can learn from it without having to just ignore or skip over the really ugly parts or those that made no sense looking at it from my previous perspective. I can embrace it as an ancient, sometimes ambiguous, and diverse book that leads us to wisdom rather than answers. I invite you to join us for this class to further explore and talk about what that means. We're going to start on Thursday, September 9th at 7 p.m., and we'll meet weekly on Zoom. We'll watch a short video and then go through some discussion questions about it. You don't have to buy or read the book to follow along, although I think the class might make you want to check out the book because it's really good. Information on registering will be posted with this video, or you can just ask me about it in person or email me at jared@liminalventura.org. Thanks.